Silver is increasing in price once again. It is crashing American dollar $65.71 now at the moment for 1 ounce of silver on this chart. As you can see, it is still going up. After a little correction, we've got again gains. People who are buying silver are gaining a lot of wealth now at the moment, as silver is growing again and is growing strongly, and this is not happening only to US dollar. At the moment 1 ounce of silver is almost $66 for each ounce. I like to remember that just few years ago it was only $10 for each ounce, so it is 600% more, almost 700% in just few years. This is how silver crashed US dollar. This is also how silver is crashing other currencies. Please look at this chart. This is chart that represents the British pound against silver, or silver against the British pound, and today it is almost 50 British pounds for each small coin. Of course, one small coin costs even more than 50 pounds. It is around 55 or 60 pounds. However, the most important now is that the British pound lost so much that actually, you know, it is around 5, 6, 7, even 800% in just few years. Please look at this chart. In 2017, 1 ounce of silver was around 1110 British pounds, and even it lost in 2018 to 10 British pounds for each ounce, but before, in 2015-16, it was less than 9 pounds. Today we've got 50 pounds, and it is one of the best investments that you could imagine against British pound and against US dollar, as silver is growing when they are printing a lot of money, when there is quantitative easing in United Kingdom and United States. That's why silver is going up, as the quantity of money printed, empty, so-called empty money, is printed worthless paper called British pound, that is printed in quantities that we can't even imagine. And this is also happening to the US dollar in the United States. The M3 is growing, the money supply is growing, and the British pound and US dollar is losing against silver. So people who are buying silver are gaining so much money, but they will not tell you that in TV. They will not tell you that on the stock market. Why they will not tell you that? Because they don't earn on it. If you buy physical silver, if you buy physical coin, 1 ounce of silver, then no banker will earn on it. No banker, no financiers, nobody will earn on it. No insurance company, only you can earn, and people who will buy later that silver from you, and again they will need to sell it with a higher price. Only people who are buying and selling are gaining. No bankers, no investors, no financial institutions, no central banks are gaining on silver. That's why you don't hear that when silver is going up and little bit going down. And this is the best position to buy when silver is going down. When silver is cheap, it is the best time to buy, because if you buy cheap and then you sell expensive, you will earn your money, you will get return, and return in last few years could be even 600, 800%, and just few months ago, it was even 1500%, 2000% just in few years. Why you don't hear about this? Because all brokers or those forex companies will not earn on it, because you are holding real silver that you are exchanging with other buyers. This is the point. They will not earn, and each time each time Bank of England is printing and easing money, then you are earning if you are holding silver, because they are increasing money supply. When they increasing money supply, you should dance. When the United States is printing and easing money supply and lowering interest rates, you should dance, because then you will earn finally later or faster. This is this point. But those currencies are not only currencies that are losing to silver. This is Australian dollar. Look for this, please look for this. This is a chart of Australian dollar, and Australian dollar is losing the same way or even faster than the British pound and the US dollar. 92. Please save this number. 92 Australian dollars for 1 ounce of silver. So that means today one coin is more than 100 Australian bucks. Ladies and gentlemen, 100 Australian bucks for each coin. 100 Australian bucks. It is a lot of money. Just in 2018 it was only 1917. In 2009 it was even less, and this is happening all the time. High inflation in Australia means that the prices are growing, the prices of services and goods are growing up. That means you have to give more and more silver for the same good and services, but you don't want to give more silver for the same service or goods, products. Then the price of silver must rise together with inflation, together with pay rise, together with money supply, and this is happening in Australia. The Australian dollar is going down to almost all currencies around the world that are actually counting, and they are rising interest rate now, and the interest rate now in Australia is very high, more than 4%, but inflation is also very high, and maybe they will manage for some time this situation, but when they will be back with the same scenario as in last 10, 20, 30 years, or similar scenario, similar formula of printing money, of lowering interest rates, then the Australian dollar will lose against silver very, very strongly. So this is very wise to buy silver. On the top of that we have to remember that Australia is actually the source of silver, the source of gold, and one of the main purposes of Australia is lowering the worth of the currency, so people buy silver from them. Why they are doing? If the currency is going down, the silver is going up, then you buy silver, then you exchange Australian dollars. This is the point. And this is why silver will go up in Australian dollars, US dollars, and British pounds. This is not the end, ladies and gentlemen. This is, ladies and gentlemen, also dollar, but it is Canadian dollar to silver, and let's see what is happening to Canadian dollar. Is the same like Australia, 91 Canadian dollars. This is happening to Canadian dollar, the same what is happening to Australian dollar, and Canada is also a country with a very high inflation, but they've got lower interest rates. That means the quantity of money is going up. On the top of that, they are also source of actually metals. They're selling metals. They've got a big country with not a lot of people, because Canada is a very big, very beautiful country, but there is only around 40 million people. So in Canada there is only people as the population of Canada is like in average large country in Europe that is very small. Let's say we can in Spain, which is very small compared to Canada, there is much more people than in Canada, and 100% more people than in Australia. This is how it is. So they've got these big countries, and they've got a lot of silver, they've got a lot of things in the ground, so they extract it and they sell it, but to sell it they must lower the value of their currencies. That's why the silver is going up in Canadian dollars, Australian dollars, and also it is going up in British pounds and in American dollar. But at the end I've got one more beautiful thing to show. And this beautiful thing that I am showing you now is another dollar, and it is called New Zealand dollar. It is 110, almost 111 New Zealand dollars today. 111. Can you imagine? So one coin is today around 120, 130 New Zealand dollars for one coin. This is actually crashing. This is crashing the value of this currency. And on the top of that, they've got very high inflation and very low interest rate, but they are actually now putting interest rate up, but it is too low. It is too low. The money supply in Australia, New Zealand, Canada, United States and United Kingdom is going up, and this money supply, when it's going up, means that the silver will go up even faster than the money supply, because money supply does not show all the created money that they are creating. And also the most important thing is that other countries around the world are growing, like China. They are growing, and why would we not talk about China? Just in China there are more people, 3 times more people, 2 times. Just in China there are 100% more people than in USA, Canada, UK, Australia and New Zealand all together. Okay. Okay, China is twice bigger than them. They also creating money, they also creating wealth, they also creating inflation, some kind of inflation, they also having a pay rise. So together, if there are pay rises around the world, if there is inflation around the world, United States or British, they don't have much to say. They don't have just much to say. This is just a part of the world, and there are much more people around the world, like China, India and other countries. They are huge countries, few billions of people, and this is maybe more important than the printing in the United States, than printing British pound, than printing Australian dollar or Canadian dollar, as those countries they represent the population of those countries, just represent half of the population in China, maybe even less. So we have to understand that we are showing just those major currencies to silver and how silver is going up. However, they don't play anymore a major role in the world at all, but they are still so-called major currencies, but they are not major anymore. There are 5 major currencies in the world in SDR basket, and those are not Canadian dollar, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, and the British pound maybe will be forced to get out in next year. So silver is going up, and it will go up if those countries, those currencies will behave as it's been behaving in last decade. Ladies and gentlemen, please subscribe, please like, and please share this movie. I hope to see you soon.